meet you where you at. Our doors are always open, and we always welcome you with open arms.
Providing supplies to reduce the harms that come from drug use or sex work. Just linking them to whatever service they want. Not what I want, but what they want.
I went to my first harm reduction. I'll never forget. The young lady who was facilitating that class said, "We don't care about how much you use. We only care about why you use it and how we can help."
Harm reduction is a safe life. That's what I think about harm reduction. It saves a lot of lives, and it saved mine.
I say that we are a walking resource. That's what we call ourselves. Because it's not only that we're giving out sandwiches and syringes, we're giving out, referrals. If you need to go to detox, you need to go to rehab, if you need a doctor, if you need housing, if you need, to know where there's another SCP or whatever we can help you to provide, what we can give you, we're going to give it to you.
It's usually somebody who have lived experience, whether it's homeless, uses of drugs. Most people who advocate for certain injustice is peers, they're advocating for change.
We're trying to keep people alive until they're ready to make a decision to stop, or is not ready to make a decision to stop. But we're just trying to keep people alive. That's all it is.
Peer Network is an organization that I founded over 10 years ago. It's a safe space for people to come feel safe, where they can get education, where they don't get judged, and they get to build themselves up personally and professionally. They build themselves up personally so that they are prepared when they go to work. We educate them, we train them in different aspects of harm reduction practice and principles. We meet people where they're at. It's almost like when we meet people, no matter where they're at in their life, in their struggle, in their journey, we meet them, but we like to walk with them through that journey to wherever it is that they're trying to go.
During COVID, when all the agencies shut down, we were the only ones, the Peer Network of New York basically were the only ones out there doing the work.
We had to make sure that our community first, that we had face masks, that we had hand sanitizers, not only for ourselves, but for our community members. So we got all that stuff and we went out.
We had to educate the community on COVID because many people didn't have phones. Many people were just living under the different encampments. So, they weren't getting the information. So we tried to educate as much as we could and, bring them supplies. One of the things that I noticed was the wounds. The wounds were horrible. You could see down into the bone. And that broke my heart.
They didn't have no access to no syringes. If it wasn't for us to come out when the pandemic happened, most of them would have probably been dead by now, God forbid. When they can't find syringes, this is why I'm out there picking up syringes, because they end up reusing the dirty ones and end up with bad abscess or a bacteria into their blood. which after that, is bad. They end up in the hospital.
It wasn't that people didn't want to take care of themselves. You know, it was just, you know, they were living in, you know, in conditions that weren't sanitary. Plus, you know, the supplies were lessened. So, you know, they would reuse needles, and, you know, there was a lot of unhealthy practices that were being practiced.
It's sad because I feel like a lot of these places shouldn't stigmatize nobody. You know, they should able to get the help to able to clean that wound up and give them fresh gauzes and stuff like that. And, you know, make sure that they're not, you know, allergic to back situations or to A&D ointments, whatever they're able to give them.
The stigma around people who use drugs is that when they go to the hospital, they feel, and some has spoke to me about this, that they don't feel respected.
We're dealing with mental health in the street. There's mental health everywhere. And that's one thing that we're lacking. We have no mental health outside to provide them with anything. No communication to these people, no medication to these people. Like, it's hard for them to find an actual doctor with no Medicaid, no ID. That's the barrier out there. That's the main thing. Why would they not provide mental health to come out?
The drug supply is contaminated with fentanyl, and fentanyl is in everything. It's in cocaine, it's in crack.
We need overdose prevention programs, OPCs. We need those right now. And we need them in abundance, not just across New York State, but across this country.
That's what we need. The government needs to put out a safe supply. That's number one. Number two, we need a lot more safe consumption sites, or OPCs, overdose prevention centers.
A self-consumption place. We have doctors, we have nurses, which are registered for the New York State, are able to help us out, make sure that we're okay. Every utensils that we use, when we're going to use, they're clean, they're sanitized. It's a safe place.
Overdose prevention sites are not places to go where people just go to use drugs. They are well-rounded individual sites where people go. If they choose to, they can go to detox, they can get a haircut, they can get their medication, they can just sit down and relax, they can see a case manager, counselor, or wash their clothes, take a shower. There's so many services that they can get. They're not forced upon them, but these services are there, and they are explained to the individuals before they go and use. And I think people need to know that.
Normally when we do outreach, we just engage with the community and we build that rapport with them, where they start telling us about stuff about what's going on. And that's the most important part of doing outreach.
Between 4 to 6 times a year, we have what we call mega outreach events. When we have these mega outreach events, they're not just for the drug users, the homeless populations, they're for the community. And the community comes out. We give out clothing at every event. We give out coats once a year. We have food at the events.
We also reduce harm from the community is, you know, trying to dispose your syringes in a proper container.
It's about keeping community safe, right? There's children in the area, there's other community members. You don't want nobody getting pricked or, you know, getting any kind of illness.
A kiosk is where you can throw your dirty syringes in, and it's something that's high up, and it's in a metal box where no one can go in. You can only put your syringes in. That's it. They can't go and reach in. They can't open the box. Only when we're gonna go dispense it, to throw it out. That's it. But it's to be safer in the streets, to keep the streets cleaner from syringes. This is why we want those kiosks up, and they help a lot.
We teach them about harm reduction. We educate them. We want them to understand that we are there. we encourage them not to use alone. That's one of the most important things, not to use alone. We also give them the Narcan. We train them if they don't know how. We give them the fentanyl script. And this is all reducing harm. And we give them love and we listen.
We call people a crackhead or could be an addict. These are words I don't use, and I don't advise anybody else to use these words because it's so devastating. Well, when that word crackhead was put to me, this is something I believe.
We were picking up syringes, and there was actually a gentleman was standing outside from the community, was asking me, why are we here? And I explained to them, I said, we're from the Peer Network of New York. We do harm reduction, and we're picking up clean syringes, and we rather give people with clean syringes than have dirty syringes. And he did not understand, so then I explained to him about HIV, how we could prevent from people getting HIV. So I educate them. They were like, wow, they didn't understand it. They were like, wow, I didn't know about that. And I said, yeah, you could always get vaccinated for your A and B and get treated for your C. You know, there's also antivirals for HIV, which people cannot pass it on to other people. You also have PrEP as well. And they were amazed. They were like, wow, I started off with one group and I finished off with 7 people on that day. And it was actually a wonderful feeling.
We believe in drug user rights. We believe in autonomy of said individuals. We believe that housing is a human right.
Our city took months before they even did anything for the homeless. They couldn't wash their hands. They couldn't take a shower. I mean, they had nowhere to go. You know, and if you went to the shelter, you would get COVID.
We were still out there servicing them, treating them with dignity and respect, giving them the information that they needed, trying to find resources because some places people couldn't even get in a detox for a while because the detoxes were closed.
There's a home that was built out of cardboard box, little square, but that was their home. It was privacy. They even put a piece of cloth over it, you know, like a curtain, but it's made with cardboard box. But that was their home. That was shelter for them. Shelter.
When a lot of these brothers and sisters out there, when they have their encampment, you don't know what happened. Some of them have their whole life things. It could have been a fire. It could have been anything. And they have their little encampment. But one thing the city does, when they come and they tear off everything you own, they take everything you own. Sometimes this is all you have left. It's all you have left.
When the winter was here, they lived in encampments and tents. So I was going, you know, we were still working in the biggest snowstorm. I would go service them at the tent and at the RV. It was 2 encampments. They will hubble up because of the cold. I would try to take them blankets. You know, whatever comforter I would find, I would take it to them. When they came and knocked those tents down and I could not find my participants, that drove me crazy for 2 weeks. Every time I would go, I would just start crying because I didn't know where to go to find them. Until one day, I walked around the corner. I seen one of the guys, they were in the tent. So I'm like, baby, where you guys are at? What happened to the people that were here? So they tried to get into a van, which was the RV. I don't know what happened to the RV. All of a sudden, it was gone. He's like, oh, they had came at like 2 a.m. and took the RV from us. There was like 10 people in the RV that had to get out.
It's like a holistic care thing. I believe that if a person who is street homeless, if they have a home, they can focus on other avenues of their life. They need to be in a safe and secure place where they can have a nice hot shower, nice bed to regroup for the next day so they can feel safe.
Our object when we go out there to do outreach is to gain trust with the participants and also with the community. The reason being, first of all, with strangers in their neighborhood, number one. Number two, we're giving out syringes, which is already a stigma in the community. They will ask us why we're giving that, and then we will sit down and we explain to them why. Some community members will agree. Some will say, well, we're still not done, but you can't change everybody's mind. But at least we have something to think about.
Nobody doesn't want to hear a person from a textbook. A person always want to know about from your living experience that you've been through. I love my job and I love my harm reduction because I'm able to identify a lot. And I'm able to understand them where they come from.
I offer them other services. I let them know, I talk with them, you know, just to get this relationship, because sometimes you see the same people every day when you go out and do the 3 days or 2 days you go out there. You come across the same people, the participants that we service. So we build that relationship.
When I respond to the ER, I know I'm going in to respond to an overdose. Somebody that is either, it's a life and death situation, right? And they lived. So I have to go into the hospital and engage this person. And sometimes I'm jumping from hospital bed to hospital bed to hospital bed. I've done like 3 people at one time. So I have to like take a moment before I go in, preparing myself mentally, be ready physically to just concentrate on that one person.
Peer work is always said to be the backbone of harm reduction, backbone of the work, spearheaded of the agency. Without the peers, the agencies would not exist and would not be able to get this done or that done. The shame of it is that a lot of the peers are being exploited by the same entities that give them this praise.
Being a peer is not book smart, it's live smart. And we can actually give a spin and a better perspective of the fight that we fighting with some of the population that is struggling.
First of all, pay us a little bit more. That's number one. Pay us, the work that we do, just pay us a living wage. That's what we're asking, a living wage, you know? The amount of money that we get for the work that we do, but in the work that we do, we put a lot of money in other people's pockets. Because without our data, they have nothing to write to funders. They have nothing to say to the funders, okay? We're the heartbeat of a lot of these organizations. But being that there's still the stigma that we have a past, or what are we doing? Well, we'll give them anything and they'll do it. Or they see the passion that we have, take advantage of that. And that's what hurts the most. That's a lot.
The peers do the work, and the things that they see on a daily basis is traumatizing. It's outright traumatizing. So when someone tells you that they need a day or two to get their self together, they should be able to get paid for that.
Right now, we don't even get sick days. Give us a little health care. Look at the work, look at the areas that we're going to, with the vulnerable areas that we're going to. Days for our mental health. Okay? We're going out there, some of the wounds and stuff that we're seeing on a regular basis, it's just unbelievable, you know what I'm saying? But then we have to suck all that in. And sometimes we need to breathe a little bit. Sometimes we need to exhale, you know? Give us 1 or 2 health days and pay us for it, you know? Pay us, it's not gonna hurt. It's not gonna hurt.
You're getting funds from us. You're getting millions of dollars from us to work. And we have nothing to show for it. And it hurts, you know? Because they forget to the people that actually brought you there, you forget them. That's not good. But that doesn't stop us from doing the work. We continue to do the work. We did the work when it was COVID with no pay. We did the work, and we would continue to do that to make sure that the participants are okay. The community is clean. We have to, because nobody else is doing it.
Treasure us. Believe us when we say certain things, because we know what's going on out there in our community, and I feel they should value us much more.